This is Eddie checking in.
This is Gage checking in, and this is Two Boys Podcast, now with microphones. The sweet, sweet, luscious sound of microphones.
This is so fucking hype. What's hype, my beast?
Yeah. What is very nice.
Shout
with
out to
this podcast.
Frugal Aesthetics,
Hopefully,
YouTuber.
Hopefully, you guys can tell the difference in quality immediately on the video podcast found on YouTube. Our channel, Two Boys Podcast, spelled BOIS Boys Podcast. Hopefully you can appreciate the production value that is now we're just swimming in cash.
I know,
obviously, from our unfunded podcast, but that's what we'll talk about today. Top of the show, always talking about social media, where you can find us. Our Twitter and Instagram are both at Two Boys Podcast, where we'll be posting behind the scenes clips, anything. If you've noticed the clips that I've been editing together, little pride projects of my own. I think I'm making little cute sizzler reels.
Little sizzlers, little
sizzlers.
Snippets, some minis.
What else? We have the Facebook group, of course, where you can leave feedback, where you can leave comments, suggestions, topics, questions for sure,
aspirations, dreams.
Yep, prayers. Curses,
thoughts,
whatever, thoughts and prayers. Leave them all there on our Facebook group. Also, Two Boys Podcast, the possessive, of course, podcast.
Yes.
How do you want to start this, buddy boy? We got our topics here.
You can shut off.
Let's lead right into it. Now, speaking of microphones, the very obvious increase in production value that we have going on here with our multicolored cables. Sorry for all those tech geeks in the beginning. I know there's poor cable management. I forgot my cable ties at home. It will be remedied in the next episode, I promise. But what we were talking about before the pod is investing in your dreams, investing in the newest thing that you want to do. Because dreams sounds a little fucking hoity-toity. But, this was a move that we didn't make in the first episode. We didn't start off saying, like, this is going to be our podcast. We're going to need mics. Let's get mics. I already had the recorder that I had when I was making movies. And I had a different mic that wasn't really podcast worthy. But we got hyped on the last episode. We really opened up Amazon, scrolling through broadcast mic kits. We found some that are pretty good. Hopefully they're high enough quality where you're appreciating it in the episode. But we made the decision that we are going to buy these mics. Eddie and I split the mics. We each bought our own, and then I bought the cables because you always never go cheap on your cables. Very important. Anyways, it's fun. It's definitely where we wanted it to be going. We want to be able to be heard a lot more clearly instead of all the background noises washing into us talking. So now we have the mics. We look cooler because we got fucking mic stand. I don't even want to touch it because I feel like it's going to be too loud. But we have mic stands now. We still have the camera, single camera. So, we're leaving room for improvement. We also don't want to blow our fucking whole load on just one episode.
I know, right?
Let's tease this out a little bit. Let's show the progress.
Right.
Yeah, this is supposed to be documenting our careers.
You spend a little bit of capital to get more capital.
Exactly. Got to spend money to make money. But, I remember when I first bought my first camera for making movies. I still have it. It's a T6i. At the time, it cost like $800 something for that, and a Rode mic that I subsequently broke, and a tripod and some other stuff. But that was to make movies. That was part of my dream. I still have it, and it's still kind of a dream. But we can also talk about that later on too. But Eddie, talk about what do you have about investing? Because I know you. With your tools and your furniture.
Investing. Just like we said earlier, in order to make money, you got to spend money. And so that's how it was when I first wanted to start fixing up furniture. And I can only do it like at my second job. But then with those funds that I would get from my second job, I actually had a more disposable income, where instead of it going straight to my bills, like a little bit actually got to stay in my pocket. So with that, I was able to actually invest in like my set of equipment that I use now to strip and reupholster furniture. And I haven't sold any furniture yet, or I haven't finished anything, but it it's definitely like catapulted me into you know quickening my pace on actually like getting the things that I want to do get done. Wow, that was like really out of order. But I mean, from that, I think the biggest investment was the sewing machine that I got, which primarily was going to be used to stitch fabrics together if I like wanted to make certain stitching details or patterns in the fabrics for furniture. But I ended up mainly actually using it for clothes that I had in my closet that I didn't that weren't fitting me, or that were like ripped and I wanted to repair them, or if I had a pair of jeans that didn't fit right, I was like able to hem and taper them to like my liking. So there was definitely versatility that like came into the investment, which I was also thinking about the other day. When people are starting their own business, they go in for this one thing, they end up turning into a different road, and like creating a new route for themselves,
Mm.
because they already accomplished like their goal or their dream of starting their own business, getting into this market, and now they want to go into a different market. So like for me, and I still want to like of course do furniture because that's like my primary goal, but like there's all these other things that I know I can start doing, because like the equipment that I have is versatile and more has a wider reach of of skills that I can start applying.
Yeah.
So instead of just learning how to stitch furniture together, I can also learn how to tailor, because that those equipments kind of like you know if you look at it have a Venn diagram, they overlap each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it also touches into our main theme. I also want to talk, or our main concern too, because I've been excited about thrifting lately. Um, but with that, I've been kind of concerned. I brought this up to Eddie before the podcast. Like, the whole point of this podcast that we started, to be honest, was just to document our progress in life and our careers. And I've always flouted myself as a movie maker, as a filmmaker, writer. But I haven't. I mean, I sat down to write something, and then I got frustrated because I didn't like. And I talked about this too a couple episodes ago. I think episode 9, where I was talking about consistency and getting that full time job. And what I'm getting that full time job for is to give myself more time to write and to work towards that. But now, like, I haven't thought about writing in a bit, and I was thinking about like flipping. Like, ooh, if I just go to if I go to, I'm not gonna blow up our spot, but if I go to a store and buy something, maybe I can, flip that. And so I'm getting really excited with flipping and thrifting and doing this, making my own store. I made a second Instagram, Garbage Man Gage, underscore between each word, on Instagram. Check it out for any postings, any later postings that might be coming up. But I don't know. It's like a crisis of interest, because I should be happy that I'm excited about something, but it makes me feel like I guess for context too, maybe why this is coming to mind right now is I came home to find my diploma in the mail. My degree. Picture here. I I received my degree from BU for film and television, and it made me realize, like, okay, I just spent 3.5 years at an institution to learn how to make movies, to better my education about making movies. Is that what I'm going to be pursuing now? And maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm very neurotic in that way, but it, I'm getting so much more instant gratification from flipping, from shopping, and I'm going to get into another story about that, and like a really exciting moment I had today. But I don't know, maybe it's just because it's what's going on right now, and I'm not spending as much time in writing or making movies. I'm spending my extra time between work going to Goodwill, going to other stores, and flipping stuff. So it's just interesting because writing's not the first thing on my mind. I don't know. I'm kind of getting concerned, but maybe it's just part of like what Gary Vee talks about, auditing your time.
Yeah.
Maybe it takes me making a master plan like you did to really hammer out what I want to be doing. Because I guess I won't. I can always live in the ether of like, I'm a writer, but I don't have anything made. So giving myself time to make something and spend time towards that craft to see if that's what I want to be doing. I don't know. I'm kind of just stream of consciousness right now because it's just a weird crisis. It's a weird. It's almost like, and I don't like to throw this word around lately, but like a privileged crisis because it's like I have so many options. What am I gonna do with myself? But I don't know. Can you pick one thing to do? Because you had the contrary. I think you took up the defense of being able to do multiple things.
Well, yeah. Because I was saying the other way. Like me and Gage, we share a lot of commonalities, even in our work life balance. We both have 2 jobs, and then we both flip on the side as side hustles because we have our main job, our second job, and then our side hustle. And then whatever free time is left can be either split up between, friends, family, significant others, or it could be, our hobbies, which is flipping, or what we're really trying to aspire to. For me, it would be furniture design and upholstery.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So
for those
excuse
watching
the
the
interruption.
video, sorry for the jump. For those who are listening, that I fucked up, or I'll just edit this all out and you won't see me get mad.
Yeah.
So
unless people, just listen to the podcast and not watch it.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that totally derailed. Just imagine if that was an ad spot, how much that would have derailed.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
To return, what we were talking about was balancing multiple things in our lives.
Yeah. So, like, I just want to try to get into the right train of thought. But, okay, for us, we have our main job.
Yes.
And then secondary, second job.
Yes.
Our side hustle, flipping. And then whatever time that we have left, because we're working 40-hour jobs, plus another 20 to 30 with our second and side hustle.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really leave us a lot of time to do other things. But that's when you really have to get down to the nitty gritty and really understand what your values are and like what you really want off from your time. And if you want to do more flipping, it's going to take a lot more time. I'm getting to a point right now where I'm stocking so much on inventory that I'm like falling behind on my listings because it's just so much. It's just so many.
Isn't that such a weird feeling? It used to be that you buy something and you're like, oh, go home, and you rush home and you take pictures of it. Now you buy something, you're like, I guess I'll go get dinner, and you leave something in your Goodwill bag and you just kind of let it sit in your room. You're like, you checking your Excel spreadsheet of what things that you posted. Or you're like, oh wait, where's my receipt for that one? I forgot to. Oh well.
Oh yeah.
But I guess we have to make. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to derail your.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I think that's because now flipping is actually starting to take a bigger chunk of my time.
Yeah.
To where it's cutting in a little bit to my upholstery and my other stuff. And is it such a bad thing? For me, luckily, no, because I have my second job that already relates to upholstery.
Yeah.
So I always have that like around, regardless whether I like it or not. It's always going to be there. But if me and you kept scaling up what we're doing right now in terms of flipping and thrifting, then that could potentially become a bigger and better, entrepreneurial, if I even said that correctly. But like that can start our own business,
Do you ever see us going into business together?
I could see that, yeah.
Hold on, mark your calendars, folks. February 16th, 2019 is the first time Gage broached the topic of Eddie and Gage going into business together for flipping. Because I kind of see where we're going with our own selves.
Mm-hmm.
We might talk about this off pod.
Yeah.
Business talk. That'll be for the Patcast. That'll be for the Patreon paywall podcast. Just kidding.
It will. Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
Patreon.
Fuck Patreon.
I know. I'm taking a hard stance right now. Fuck Patreon. We'll never have a Patreon.
Damn.
Anyways.
No sponsors, no patrons.
Well, we'll have sponsors. Fucking MeUndies hit me up. But but no, fuck Patreon. Anyways. Yeah, so as scale, I guess the scaling part is kind of what I was kind of wrestling with too.
Yeah.
because if you want it to be successful, you know, you can't always find those gems that'll like launch your bank account for the month
Yeah, definitely.
to supplement.
And also, I'm looking for more consistency now with my eBay, because when you first start, right, you might get one, it might roll like really quickly, like all the stuff you happen to buy, all might just get bought up in like, that's in that like small time frame that you were hoping. I
Yeah.
keep smacking the fucking cable.
Yeah, please be again, cable management. I'm very sorry, but next time I will manage the cable a lot better.
Uh, but yeah, but now I'm trying to build up that inventory so I can have a more consistent role of buyers, purchasing my items. So I'll have a steady flow of cash versus a sporadic flow of cash. So some weeks I'll be high, some weeks I'll be low. Still having a flow. You'll still have those variances,
Yeah.
but the idea is to have the flow there. And so yeah, like because of that, flipping is actually starting to take a little bit more of my time, and that's because I'm trying to play catch up with myself in terms of scaling to throw myself into position now where it becomes more sustainable, so I can have a bigger cash flow, so I can start buying more stuff. So, and it's like when you say it out loud like that now, you're kind of seeing that, if the more serious you get, the bigger the scope gets for yourself, and the bigger the scope gets, it's like the faster you want to get to that, achievement. And,
Yeah.
This is the weird thing about flipping too, which I started to notice, is it's so ambiguous in terms of like where does it fall in terms of a business, because you can do it as a hobby.
Yeah,
but
what
if
would you call yourself? Oh, sorry, I totally.
No,
interrupted.
no, no, no. You can do it as a business, but if you don't make enough money, then technically you don't get taxed for it. But if you make over, X amount of money, then you have to start paying taxes. That's why, I'm keeping track of an Excel sheet, because I have a feeling, and I, just want to cover my own bases, and I like numbers, and I like to see where I'm going with things.
Agreed.
But like, I know for a fact that if I keep myself on this track with this amount of upscaling that I'm trying to bring forth for myself, then I'm definitely gonna like catch myself in like the tax zone, and I don't want the IRS on my back.
Yeah, especially as we're documenting our our thrifting.
You'll see us in federal court, guys. Okay.
Yeah, and the next time I'm in front of a mic, it's my fucking being deposed.
Gage and Eddie's depositions.
Yeah, especially when we're trying to gain notoriety on this. We don't want to also be fucked because
we want to be famous, not infamous.
Yeah, we don't want to be like Twitch thoughts and get like called out
God.
for. That's just me using the colloquialism of the time. I don't believe. Never mind. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, just don't listen to the podcast. But yeah. So I think I just realized what I wanted. Like while you were saying that, the dream, you know how you have your dream master plan? My dream is to flip for film. Like I just realized like what I'm doing. It's like, well, if I get this full-time job, how much time will I have left for flipping and also writing? But the only two things that I keep coming back to in my mind is writing and flipping. And if my entire career is flipping, then I'll have time for, like, if flipping is my full-time job, JOB, then I'll have time for my career, which is writing.
Yeah.
The things that definitely right now are not making money, because there's one thing in my life that's making money. How much money is up to how much time I pay attention to fees and postage and packaging and saving money here and saving money there, making money here, making money there. I like putting my mental energy into flipping things. It's fun. It's a game to me. You know, the finds of the weeks, the competition that Eddie and I have back and forth. And I genuinely do seeing us two heads together being able to like really fucking bring the house down on some next level shit. Like if we actually were working together and we spread our time between the two of us and we like, I don't know, like that's of course an off podcast discussion. This is just stream of consciousness. But what I just realized now is I want to flip things to fund my life, just like groceries. eating,
It's
all that stuff.
it's so fun too because you have your main sources of income, right?
Yeah.
And you know exactly if you budget and you know where that money is going, then okay, that money is spent and then that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have this extra source of income
Yeah.
that now you can use to do kind of really whatever you want with it,
Yeah.
which I fucking love
Yeah.
because
It feels so good
it,
to look at my PayPal.
it I'm pinching pennies essentially right now
Yeah.
because like I have all these expenses that have to get met. Again, student loans is the big chunk of that, but knowing that I have these extra source of funds that I have options with it. I could use it to pay my loans. I could use it for myself. I can use it to get myself out of a hole just in case like some shit like hits the fan. It is nice. It gives you breathing room to explore more options, but also feel a lot more secure. And even though right now, again, me and Gage, we're still in a very preliminary and very small kind of
I mean, we're still yellow stars, baby.
yeah, I know, right?
Once we get that blue star, then we'll start, doing dick measuring
The-
contests.
yeah,
But
I know,
we're
right?
still at a yellow
Shit
star.
starts getting real over there.
That's very in baseball for all eBay sellers out there.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to explain it. Just if you know, then you know.
So it just I'm like stumbling over my words because like I feel like really alleviated knowing that like this extra source of income
It's liberating.
that has no correlation whatsoever to my actual work and like budget.
And,
It just it feels liberating.
and you get satisfaction from it too.
Oh hell yeah! Like
Like
yeah, that's
Eddie
my
and
money.
but if you were to look at Eddie and I's texts, you'd be like, these people run a flipping business. I think that's where we start to see it reveal itself to us, because we're, along the Gary V way, where he's just like pick something, move towards that thing, and over-index on that. Like, I think if you were to just look at what naturally has come out of our conversation, now pretty much all we talk about is what we flipped for how much, how quickly. We get excited. I got excited. I bought a replica U.S. Navy flight jacket from a business that went out of business in the 80s, and I flipped it for like, more than 3 times what I bought it for. Like 5 times what I bought it for. And I flipped it within 3 days.
Yep.
And that is fucking so awesome. And I got excited about that. What I haven't got excited about is how, fucking many lattes I can make at a certain coffee shop.
I know, right?
And it's kind of that, and I know it's not that yet, but it's kind of that fuck you money. Which, fuck you money is like when you're a celebrity and you can say no to a bunch of stuff. But hearing about my favorite people, my favorite comedians and stuff, saying no to certain jobs makes me feel good about like the future, is when you can move towards financial liberty, financial freedom, and it feels so good because you almost feel like you have a secret that no one else knows. Like when you talk to other people and you hear them about complaining about bills and loans, in the back of your head you're thinking about, oh yeah, so if I just do one more trip to Goodwill and then I find some stuff there and then I look through the clothing, then
yeah, I know, right?
And all you really think about is how many racks of clothing you're gonna have to go through to pay off rent for the month.
You know what's interesting now? Every time I go out and thrift, I always have, so I'll spend, I usually on average spend about $30 every time I go out and buy more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into the knack now of finding one item that will compensate for the whole investment.
Yeah, man.
So like
Doesn't that
my
feel so
Ralph,
great?
yeah, the Sorel boots that I got,
Yeah.
bought those for 8, sold it for 45. That day that I bought all that stuff with at the thrift store I was at, I only spent $25.
That's
so
kind
I already
of the
made,
game, man.
yeah, I already made back the investment I made
Don't you love
on that one day.
that mental math? Even
Yeah.
just before you get home, you think about, like, once you get that offer and you finalize a sale on one item, you think back to that day and you're like, that just covered. That's like if you invited a bunch of friends to dinner and then all of them gave you a bunch of money. You're like, okay, that's covered dinner. Plus, like, that was a terrible analogy.
Yeah.
What I meant to say is just the mental math of that makes you realize how scalable what we're doing is when we're doing it at the attention that we're giving it. Because you look at your receipts and you're like, oh, I didn't need, like, it's as if I never even spent money that day.
Yeah,
Because all I do is made money.
It's like,
then
it's back now.
if you make all of your money back on one item, then everything else is free real estate. It's just
It's
profit.
kosher, dude.
It's
Yeah.
straight profit, especially when you consider the fees and everything rolled into that. Like,
Yeah.
it's covered more than what you spent. Then you're like, okay, then I don't have to worry. You can sit back and let everything do itself. Once you take the right pictures, once you make the right description, it's kind of on autopilot at that point. That's kind of the least fun part of it, to be honest. Like, once the listings are just sitting there, the sale is obviously the most riveting part. But then that relaxation of, I'm good, I'm settled. Whatever money I make now is just all up and up.
Yeah.
And that just dictates how much scale you can put into this thing. Because at first we were making, the margins, if you just looked at the numbers, maybe if you made a sale that equaled like $100 and something bucks, like $120 for the month, you're like excited. You're like, that's another $100 for the month.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about in the hundreds of stuff for the month and like what that's going to yield.
Yeah.
And soon, for me, I think of it in terms of life expenses. You got rent, you got your toiletries. I just fucking bought toilet paper off Amazon today. I'm like, I can't wait for me to flip something and think that's toilet paper for the month. I don't have to worry about that. So once I can pay, I'm just gonna say this now, I guess, because we're here to document our life. I'm gonna keep scaling until I can pay my rent and everything, student loan payments for the month. Like, it might be like a couple thousand a month. Once I have that, if I can hit that, and I can hit it a couple months in a row, like boom, 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 I think I might just quit both fucking jobs and not look for anything else.
Dude, that's definitely doable.
That's my dream exit plan. And that's more of like a when I know than a have to like.
Yeah.
Because yours, I respect the shit out of your list, man. Like having every step along the way of like where to go. You definitely have the trajectory. Mine's a lot more guesswork.
Yeah.
But once I'm there, I'm fucking gone.
I'm gone.
And that's that's what I mean by fuck you money, man. When I can go to Goodwill and feel like RoboCop, just scanning everything, just be like $7.99, $7.99, $6.99, $500, and do the math in my head. Also, on my calculator, watch Casio. Peep it, $16 on Amazon.
Oh yeah, I got a Casio watch too. Look at that.
Casio Flex
Casio
Boys.
Brothers.
Once I can do that, then I'm fucking golden. That relaxation. I slept in today, not having work to go to, and I realized I want to feel like that forever. Because I feel like it's my day. I can do with it what I want. And what did I do with my day? I went out and I fucking bought stuff to thrift. Sorry, I dropped my phone.
And thrifting is so much fun, man. It's genuine. Dude, today when I went out to go send some stuff out to the USPS store, I wasn't even planning on thrifting. But then the train, one of the lines was down, where my normal USPS store was. Yeah. That one I couldn't get to because the branch line that was going through was down. So I took the other train, and then that USPS store is right next to a thrift store that I know of. Yep. So I was like, I'm in the neighborhood. Why not? Like, I'm gonna do it. And I found this Nautica jacket today.
Find of the week. Yeah, we might as well get into it now. While we're here, we'll dip back into our rant. But find of the week, Eddie, take it away with your find of the week.
Yeah. So today, and shout outs to the ladies who were working there, because I was just about to leave, and then I noticed all the coats outside. It's this thrift store done outside or inside of a church. And like what I like about it is they're super low key, not a lot of people know about it, and they get mad stuff.
So you'll never tell
like
anybody.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, no. And their hours are so niche. Like I can't even get into it right
so
now
niche.
with you. But they have a very small window of like when they're open. And they just get some really good stuff in. But
you almost sounded like you were the segment from what's it called? The Weekend Update with Stefan. The hottest thrift club is in a church. It's run by only giant women, and they sell only jackets upside down and in reverse. It is called the Churchy Thrift.
But like, if you want to hold on to the other side real fast. So yeah, I found this Nautica parka, vintage Nautica parka.
So for those just listening on audio, Eddie and I are holding a pretty big parka. Spanning
it's an extra large, but like I like baggy clothes, especially like clothes like this. I think it's always nice to wear a baggy.
Yes.
In the back,
flip it for that Nautica flex, my guy.
Yeah.
That's great.
But yeah.
Just cut my nails, sorry, bud.
That's cool. But this is a great find. I was super happy about it. It's just like finds like that too. Also,
are you gonna skip over my find of the week, you son of a bitch?
Wait, hold on. I can go in a little bit more. Before you go into yours, but like this is
okay
to get into the hype of it.
Okay.
What's hype, my beast?
Didn't mean to bite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
But it's things like that now too. You know, when I'm looking through a store or through a rack at a store, you're like it's like sharper fucking image. You know, you can zoom in. Like
Okay.
it's like, wait a minute, I know that colorway. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's from Polo. Like and,
Yeah.
like you pick it out, and you just know, and
When you
it makes thrifting a lot easier, but like a lot more fun,
Mm.
because now you can just like see it from like across the fucking room.
Do you feel more confident now too?
Exactly. Just,
No,
just
like,
fucking
'cause
pick it out.
imagine like the first time. Just put yourself in the mind space of when you first stepped into a thrift shop with the intention of flipping. How confident you felt. You know, you probably felt like you really couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Now, I don't give a fuck. I'm shameless. I learned the bad guy's name, Manuel, at a certain place we go to, because you
Yeah.
have to check your bag when you get up there.
Yeah.
So like, I'll squeeze in 45 minutes between jobs, and sometimes I don't come up with anything. I'm like, oh, ran out of time, got to take the tea back to work, and I'm like, sorry, Manuel, didn't get anything today, but you know, starting to know the people's names and you know, start to get in with them. But like now, I have like. It almost looks like fucking kung fu. Like if you were to remove the clothing rack, it looked like I'm doing fucking tai chi, because it's just me like moving the rack and then pushing the jackets, moving the rack, pushing the jackets, and I do this movement. It looks like I'm like boxing a really
Yeah.
short person,
Yeah.
but it's me like getting through the clothes as fast as I can and doing like quick gestalt like view of the clothes, like
Yeah.
not vintage, too specific, like the
It's
material.
like brand.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Colorway. Okay. No.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
Tinder for clothing, except you
It
have
really is.
unlimited swipes for free.
Yeah. You don't have to pay for your swipes.
Yeah. So my suggestion is get a girlfriend so you can stop swiping on Tinder and go to your local thrift shop so you can start swiping on jackets.
Exactly. And what's even interesting? Actually, let's just get to your
Yeah.
find of the week.
Well, this is a personal find of the week. I have another
That's
one.
even a better thing about thrifting. You get to keep
Okay, dude,
the
you're
best fucking.
Careful, you're
finds.
peeking, my
Oh,
guy.
sorry. This is why
I'm
it's
gonna
so
need you to
exciting.
keep it a fist away from the mic.
Here's the best part about thrifting.
What they won't tell you.
Not only do you get clothes for fucking cheap, you get to keep the best stuff that you find. Even if you don't want to sell it, maybe you do down the road.
my
Hey,
God.
you can still wear it too,
You can
and
wear
then
the
just
shit
sell
out
it
of
because
my guy.
everything's already pre-owned and
You
pre-worn.
got it.
That's just
They
broken
already
in for
farted in the pants.
you.
That was a bit from Paul Rudd. I think he's like, "What? You want to buy pants that other people farted in?" That's another thing. But
Okay.
no. This, and honestly, that's more the satisfaction, right? So this.
You
by
don't
the
have
way,
to go clothes shopping anymore,
I
dude.
know, dude. Give up big. We're gonna hold it like this. So this is a reversible bomber, kind of in the vein of Alpha Industries bombers, that polyester with the engineering pocket right here with the pencil holder and the zip pocket. It's reversible. It's fucking reversible. Please check out the video podcast for this. It's black on one side, and when you reverse it, it's what they call emergency orange. I like to call it traffic cone orange because that's a little bit more specific and definitely the color that this is. But it's a reversible bomber. It's super comfy, and this is one of the items I decided to keep for myself because you can't tell in the video. Terrible resolution on this GoPro. When we scale up this podcast, we'll have a specific list of the week, Cam, so that we can show off the details and stuff. I'm putting that on record, you son of a gun. I'm talking to you, Gage. Hold yourself accountable for your actions. This bomber, I just found the brand today because I was holding my hands in my pockets and I found it's Spywalk and Sons Inc. They make just like the jacket that I actually. What is my find of the week? I'll jump to that. My find of the week is an intermediate G1 leather. I always superimpose mine because I never have it because I'm just constantly shipping stuff out because living dentless. It was a leather. Basically, it's a leather aviator's jacket. I bought it for $25. Sold it for, wait for it, $175. Free shipping, by the way. So a little bit less than that, but $175 was the listing price. I put it up for $200, got a counter offer, ended up selling it for $175. Dude, waking up to something being sold on your eBay is better than waking up to a blowjob. That's on record. But because you fucking can't put blowjobs in your bank account. But this bomber, anyways, I like it. And I finally found the brand and I looked it up on eBay. And the best part about thrifting and finding cool brands and wearing your shit and being steezed out on like pennies to the dollar is not only, first of all, it's cheap because you already covered the cost by flipping, But it's even better because you know how expensive it is, and you know how little you paid for it, and you get to wear it, and it just feels like you're fucking dressed in coupons, my guy.
Dressed in coupons,
Just
yeah.
fucking flexing in the coupons. But yeah, that was our find of the week. We should just make that a more regular part of the show.
Yeah,
Just probably
we could do that.
dedicate time to that, but we'll figure that out.
Definitely.
That's a post-pod talk. But let's get back to it. Anything else you want to touch on
Off
about
a
the?
huge tangent.
Yeah, but yeah, basically, I just want to like flip for my life.
That's totally
Yeah.
fine. Because you start on one path, but you never really know what's gonna happen. And you know the same thing can happen for me. I wake up tomorrow with an epiphany. It was like, damn, maybe I don't want to like design. Well, like maybe I still do, but maybe that we have so much time, dude.
I know,
We
we're so
really
young.
have so much time.
Like, how old are you right now?
25.
So if Eddie lived another full lifetime, he would only be 50. And so many people.
I plan on living to 100. That's like my goal, to live to 100.
Life goal, live to 100. Actually, you know what my actual life goal is? To live to 103 so that I could say I lived in 3 centuries. I was born in the 20th century in 1997. If I live to 103, that means I'll die in the year 2100, which means I will have lived in the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd century.
Damn, that's fucking dope.
Get your fucking life. People,
Get your
people
fucking
born after
life.
2000 can't appreciate the 3 century rule, but I have the cards stacked against me, genetically speaking. So hopefully I can just download my consciousness and
Yeah.
we'll be Gucci. But yeah, live to 100. That's a life goal.
You're
Put that
peaking.
on the fucking board.
You're peaking.
Oh, sorry, but I am definitely peaking. Sorry for those. We're still getting used to the proximity of these microphones, like it's ASMR. But yeah, live to 100 for sure. But so yeah, my point is, if Eddie doubled his life right now, he could be only 50, and as long as he takes care of his body, which you're a fit dude, you go to the gym, you fucking put in the work, and don't eat like a slob, you'll be fine, and you'll have so many more useful years ahead of you, you know, and all of this, and also the reverse of that. Think of all the stress and pain and anxiety that you've gone through in your whole life, because you didn't start forming like true memories that you can remember now until you're like 5.
Yeah.
So let's just say 20 years of a lifetime, you know, all of that, and now, you know, that's all behind you. Like that happened like that, but you can live a whole nother one of those with the knowledge of the ones previous.
Yeah.
So like, it's all good from here. We're in a really good fucking spot in our lives, and this feels good to be alive right now. You know, I've been listing off. Actually, yeah, I'll get back to you. You will come back to me. I've been talking too much.
That's cool. That's cool. I actually forgot what I was talking about.
Okay, so anyways, but at the end of the day, after I'm done brushing my teeth, when I'm in the shower, I start to do this thing now because I've been so fucking neurotic and stressed. But I'm trying to be too blessed to be stressed. You know, because I realized everyone can complain about their lives and fucking what's going wrong, but being with my buddy Eddie, recording a podcast, having something to look forward to, having thrifts, feeling like, you know, I used to not dress up because I didn't want to spend money in the wrong direction. I always was made fun of for like dressing like shit. But now I can dress like shit and say that I'm still profiting off of it. So fuck you guys and fuck everyone who says I can't match, because I don't care, because now I can buy whatever I want and know that it's covered, and it feels so good, and that's what I want. And if so anyways, I started listing off the things I'm grateful for. I call it my gratitudes. I know this might sound lofty, but fuck you anyways. Now when I'm in the shower, I do in this like sing-songy voice, like, and Eddie's in my gratitudes every night, and this podcast is in my gratitudes every night. And I started off like this. I'm like, I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my teeth. I'm thankful for my girlfriend. I'm thankful for Eddie. I'm thankful for this podcast. And it's very stream of consciousness. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to be thankful for the next time, but I keep going like that until I run out of things, and then I turn the water off and go to bed. Fucking end your day. Like, that's why prayers, I wish I fucking prayed when I was a little kid, because then I'd have this habit built up. You don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to believe in God or Yahweh or Muhammad or whatever. Now we're gonna get demonetized because I said Muhammad. But just fucking think as hard as you can. Your life might be fucked right now, but just think about the 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for. If you have a friend that you can talk to for an hour and make a career out of it, if you have a girlfriend, you know, even if you like your parents, some people have those, you can just fucking think about what you're grateful for, so that you can wake up the next day like, okay, I have that in my life. I don't have to worry. Give yourself some joy on the back burner at least. You know, to say my life might be going to shit, but at least I have my blank. I'm grateful for my blank. Do it however you want, but think about the things that you have, because that gives you the base to build off everything else. You know, because, I mean, I felt like I was in a real fucking dump, but when I heard, like, you know, That's why the talk of privilege really pisses me off, because
I
it's
hate
putting
that.
that on other people. That's saying that that's someone telling you that your life is good. And to anybody, if I were to tell anybody like, "Oh, you're so lucky, you have this," and in an offensive way, not like a, "Oh man, you're so lucky, you have a beautiful wife and great kids," whatever. Not that way. I mean, when people try to devalue your bad experiences by somehow convincing you that you only have good experiences. But I want to take the flip of that and just take the proactive approach to think about what you're privileged about. And I don't mean that in the way of like the political privilege or whatever. I just mean like think about what makes your life good, because there is so much good. You just have to fucking recognize it. Because if you constantly stay in your head about what's bad, what's negative, it can be helpful for your growth. Like, I don't like this, I can move away from that. But if you put it in a definitive frame saying this is what's bad and this shall remain what is bad, you're just gonna fucking stay there. Because that's all you're looking at all day. You're just looking into the
Definitely.
abyss.
Yeah.
Like, look forward. It's even my neurotic head. Even if I was fucking destitute and poor, I might be look back on my life like, oh my god, I fucking hated when I was 21. I fucking hated, like, I wish I want to look back on the long view of history of my life and say where I was shit. But while I'm here right now, I might as well be grateful that I'm still fucking alive.
True. That was really well put. Yeah. It's damn, dude. That's crazy. That was a good rant.
Definitely a fucking sizzler reel.
Sizzler reel.
Definitely going up on the clips page.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I felt that coming along too when I turned 25, or actually just the end of 2018. There was definitely a shift I was feeling because I started to ask myself a lot more questions. When you're asking yourself why, and instead of just like kind of wallowing in just the whys, you start to go out and find those answers for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like my first biggest why is like, why are rich people like rich? How do they stay rich?
Sounds like a
So-
book that someone might have written.
So I literally started to go on YouTube and Google, and I was like, how like I like what my that was my first preliminary question, was like, how do rich people stay rich? And so that diverged into, okay, well, they stay rich because they don't have one source of income.
Mm.
And if you have multiple sources of income, then not only do you exponentially like increase how much you make a year,
Mm-hmm.
but if one system fails, you have all these other systems to fall back on. That's like when people fucking freak out when they don't work enough hours at work, and they're like, oh shit, like I don't have enough money for like the week, like this is not going to fit in the budget and blah blah blah.
Yep.
But say if that was just one out of your four sources of income, like, oh, okay, I have a little less money this week. So, just going to, kind of like shifting paradigms from I'm poor, I'm broke, I don't have money to do any of this, to I am broke, but now I'm going to start developing skills and bringing tools to my disposal to start building wealth and, really kind of catapulting myself into a better life, into a better mindset. There's a good quote I've been hearing around. The reason why the rich are rich is because they live like they're poor.
Mm.
And the reason why the poor people are poor is because they live like they're rich. And so,
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
So it's all about the like, to reframe what Eddie said, and we've talked about this before off the podcast, but how people prioritize what they need to spend their wealth into.
Mm-hmm.
So rich people who stay rich know that they need to pay it into the essentials.
Yeah.
Living where you are, making sure you have, your food and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yada yada. Whereas some other people blow it on fucking customized jewelry that has no retail value.
Yeah,
resale
exactly.
value.
Jim Rohn puts puts that perspective in a really good view, and he essentially talks about it in the philosophy. So the philosophy of the poor is the poor people spend their money and then invest what's left, and the rich people invest their money and then spend what's left.
Yeah, here's the cheat code to life. If you can get about like a couple tens of thousands of dollars in one place at one time into like a very diversified investment portfolio, you can kind of just let that shit ride
Mutual funds.
and keep you alive
Mutual funds.
forever.
Yep. And if
If
you
you
want
have
to
a-
secure your retirement and your old age future, Roth IRA, RSA, Roth RSA or ISA. It's one of those two.
Can
Or
we get
just
sponsored by like Fidelity?
hey, I have a Fidelity account too.
I have a Fidelity account too. You hear that, Fidelity?
Yeah.
Hashtag Fidelity
I
at
have
Fidelity USA.
stocks in a certain um, coffee chain.
Roastery.
Yeah.
Now apparently no, but it's not that hard. Once you get a certain amount of wealth, like you have to grind for it, but once you get a certain amount of wealth, you kind of just put that on the burner and it just keeps you going.
Yeah.
Because that investment will grow to a certain point where you can keep reinvesting. And as long as you don't fuck up and like have any dumb drug addict kids who like waste all your fortune, then you're good.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like all fortunes that are blown
Oh,
and like
of course.
squandered.
But let's get back to the center of it.
Sorry.
For me, for example, if I wanted to get out of where I am right now, which is being poor and not having a lot of money, then I have to start changing my mindset. And I also have to start changing what I'm doing in my life to start getting away from the dark and going into the light. You got to get from point A to point B somehow. And if you're just going to sit there and wallow all the time about how much your life sucks and not being able to do it, then fun fact, you're going to stay right there because you're not doing anything for yourself, just beating yourself up and just pointing the finger at other people too, just saying you're the reason why I'm not winning. No, you're the reason why you are not winning. So like, stop fucking pointing yourself. Like, stop. That saying is like, oh, you're one finger is pointing at a person, but like 3 are pointing back at you. Like that's really fucking true.
For
right?
sure.
You got to get your head out of your ass. You really got to fucking
Get
put
your head
boots
in the
to
game.
asses.
Yeah.
And just like get at it, man. Like there's just there's so much opportunity, and like we've been repeating opportunity quite a bit in the last few podcasts.
For sure.
But it's out there, and it doesn't have to be what everybody else is doing. It can be your own path. And another thing that I've figured out too is Jim Rohn, again, going right back to him, he talks about financial independence, and when he first talked about, quote unquote being rich, he didn't like using the word being rich because that kind of like what are the parameters for like being rich?
Yeah.
Like you have to make X amount. So instead he uses financial independence. Now financial independence can be catered specifically to what you want.
Yes.
Right? That all of course entails like you not being in debt, you having a steady flow of income that supports all your needs and like gives you a little bit extra. And that you don't have to make $100,000 a year, $1 million a year to feel accomplished or happy. You get to pick what you feel accomplished for. And what's most important too is not giving a shit about what other people think about you, because at the end of the day you can be like a saint and fucking be Mother Teresa and like people are still going to be like trying to shit on you. But the point is that you can't be holding yourself back on the words and the opinions of other people.
I fucking agree. Except the people that you fucking really, really love. Like, I really appreciate the shit out of Eddie's feedback and advice and, surrounding yourself with the people that are going to tell you you're doing shit wrong. Like, my little brother, before we started the podcast, texted me and told me that my second Instagram doesn't have a proper URL in the bio, and I felt like a 47-year-old man. I was like, I don't know how Instagram works, and I'm still in my 20s. I feel I'm so old. But fuck yeah, Eddie. Like, Eddie's probably one of my best friends on this fucking planet.
Yeah.
And
No, likewise.
because we also have shit to do together. Like, we have a commonality, and it feels so good to be able to share my excitement with another person. This podcast is pretty much us gushing over the week's, what's happened over the week between the two of us, and we're all in baseball, I don't have to fucking explain what flipping is to Eddie because he's already there. He already knows what's good. So I can just dish out this weird, like, it almost sounds like we're speaking another language,
Yeah.
When we're around other people, they're like, they almost kind of get a little jealous. And I don't mean to project on the people, but I think they get upset that they don't know what. I think okay. Let me severely backpedal my statement.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of scoffing and like kind of like, ugh, like, oh, you guys talking about your flipping again?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I feel like people get annoyed with that. The same as when people hear us talking about podcasting and what we have to do,
Yeah.
and like all the podcasters that we listen to. Like, yeah, people get annoyed with it, but at the same time, this is things that like we genuinely like and like to talk about.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to know that I can go to Gage and be like, "Yo, dude, like, did you listen to this episode?" Or like, "Oh, I just found a new podcast and I'm like really binging
Yeah.
on right now." Or we can talk about the flips that we find. And I know for a fact that even though we do kind of beat it, we're beating a dead horse to other people, and it can be super annoying. Like, we're finding something that we're passionate about, and on top of that, that is like kind of like uplifting our spirits and really like
In our bank accounts.
in our bank accounts.
Trying to scoop the bag on this podcast, my
and
guy.
and it's just you just got to find your niche. Just find your niche, find the people who are also in it, and just kind of delve in that. Because trust me when I say it, you can talk about these kind of things for hours. Like when I go to Anime Boston or kind of whatever convention I like to go
WeebCon.
to, yeah, any WeebCon, like those are people who are in to anime and manga.
Fuck yeah.
And like I can talk about that nonstop all day. We can have debates, discussions, arguments about what's good, what's not. And like at the end of the day, we're all going to be happy because that's what everybody's there for. Is to be like fucking
It feels so
hyped.
good to be accepted. And when
It
you
does.
know you don't have to explain yourself and you can just keep your momentum and talk about shit freehand, and that's why I hope this podcast finds I guess there's no right person to find this podcast, but I hope this podcast.
I hope somebody like hears this, and whether you like us or not, you get something out of it.
Yeah, like I hope that you were scratching an itch that you're not getting somewhere else in your life, that you have your fucking two boys to come to hear about their flips and finds, and that kind of gets your tickles your jimmies, that they it gets your goat, man.
Rustle
Because
your
it gets,
jimmies.
if I was just listening to a podcast about guys flipping stuff, like I'd be excited too, because that's the difference between like the jealousy and like enjoyment is this might be a weird take on something, but the way I see it is it's like I wouldn't be jealous that someone's flipping a lot better than I am. It would be like, oh, they're doing the thing that I'm doing, and then you learn from them. Like Eddie has a channel that he follows. I don't know if you want to shout it out on the pod.
Oh, Rally Roots.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan and Ali and Callie. They're awesome.
You should
They're
fucking
great.
DM them this podcast. Hopefully
I
they'll
will.
listen to
I
an
definitely
episode.
will because I've been binging them for weeks on end, and I've been learning so much more about retail arbitrage and flipping, and they're the reason why like I'm looking at certain brands right now, and I'm finally finding them at thrift stores.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely.
But my
give them a
point
shout
is like you're not jealous of them. You appreciate their
No.
making their content, because when they make their content, they're doing their best life, they're living their best life, and you're also on their track. You might be behind them, but you're like, I'll get there. I'll fucking get there.
You see-
It's when you're sitting on the sidelines and the bleachers not moving in any direction that you become jealous that someone's running the track, because like then you're like, fuck, I wish I could get up and run with them.
Yeah.
But it's like, just fucking do. I don't know. It's
I
a
don't-
weird take, but
I don't see it as people like, just to get back to Rally Roots.
yeah.
When I see because they're running a 6-figure thrifting operation.
That's a lot of bags to scoop up.
Yeah, so think about it that way. And when I see their operations and like how much stuff they're bringing in inventory, like I'm not jealous. I'm like, damn, like they're so fucking lucky. Like, why do they get all that stuff?
Lucky.
Like,
everyone says lucky.
Yeah.
They're so lucky. They're so privileged that they get to be there.
but the way I'm thinking about it is like, if they can do it, now I know I
Anyone
can do it.
fucking do it, man. They're just doing. The instructions are out there. It's
Yeah.
not hard. Just listen to what episode did we explain it on? Episode like 9, 8, the one where
For
we just
what?
did flipping.
About just flipping on the regular.
all the stuff flipping. Like we put it out there in a podcast,
Mhm.
and that's with our knowledge. So it's like, that's how fucking we
I-
got here.
Yeah, I like to introspectively think a lot, and just kind of break things down in my head in the best ways I can think
Yeah.
about it. So, say a friend of ours from work, right? She just went to a not, I don't want to say convention. It's just an open mic essentially.
Okay.
No,
I'll let you take. I'll let you take the ropes on this. I have absolutely no clue what you're talking about.
Fuck. It's like
You want to give me a letter?
letter. No, well, she went to this thing for real estate. I like kind of.
Okay, now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what do you call that?
A lecture,
Yeah, essentially.
seminar.
Seminar. Boom. There we go. So she went to
Two
a
heads
seminar
better than one.
learning learning about how to start buying real estate and making a profit off of it.
Mind you, she's still in college, so let's just give context.
She's
Like, she's
she's that
talking
smart.
about buying property in probably one of the most expensive cities. I guess all cities are expensive, except San Francisco is obviously super
Oh
expensive.
yeah, but Boston.
But her
Boston.
aspirations are bigger than where she is, and that's okay. And she's going to the seminar
Yeah,
to learn about
but
real
she
estate.
she went to the seminar, right? So say 100 people went to that seminar.
Yeah.
Okay, not all 100 of those people are gonna actually start doing what that seminar was entailed
Hmm.
to do, right? So 100 people go. Let's say 25 people actually try to start doing something.
Yeah.
Okay, out of those 25 people, about 10 of them actually get a good grip of what's going on.
Okay.
And out of those 10 people, maybe 3 of those people are going to be exceptionally well at doing it.
And out
Okay.
of one of those, only one of them will be a blank of the quarter.
Exactly. And so you got to think about it this way, right? Yeah, so we're in the information age and we're learning about so much and everybody can learn about whatever you're doing, but when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it, only a few people are going to be exceptionally good at it. And like I'm not going to like blow up my own clout about flipping because I'm just
I will.
starting out.
I will.
But
Eddie's fucking great at flipping. I'm proud of you, bud.
thank you, and I really appreciate it. But it maybe sooner or later I'll hit my cap, right? But I'm not gonna get mad because that's the best I know about my ability.
bro.
Yeah. But that just goes to show that if you even if it's available for everybody to learn and do, not everybody's going to be able to do it, and not everybody's going to be able to do it as good as you or the next person.
Yeah.
So just give it a fucking try.
There was a podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about somebody took a trip to Peru, and they found, well, there's this like very historical monument. I don't know the exact name, but at the center of one of the walls on the palace, the engineering from the Incas was so accurate, was so astute that you couldn't fit a piece of paper, couldn't put a razor blade between these stones that they laid. And when you think stone laying, you think maybe like bricks, like perfect rectangles stacked one on top of the other on top of the other, a metric, a unit. It's pretty easy to measure out your house. But now imagine they don't have those metrics and they have to just lay organic stone to make a straight wall because they still want that nice geometry. At the center of one of these walls is probably one of the most like unique shaped stones that they have. Now they had very, very primitive technology to shape these rocks, but this rock has 12 angles in it. It's some wonky ass shape rock at the center of this wall. Because the Incas were so good at engineering, they believed that no stone is too unique to not have some place somewhere in that wall. A wall that was built for royalty. So, getting back to Eddie's point, whatever the fuck you want to do, Gary Vaynerchuk likes to bring up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles model. If you fucking love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, become that expert in that. Now, this person we're talking about, a lot of people like real estate. It's a pretty common fascination, but only some people will be so obsessed with it that they will go to the edges of their intellectual capability to press themselves and make themselves the best version to do that thing. So we like to think of ourselves doing that for flipping. And we see certain obstacles in the way. And to liberate us from those obstacles, we need to scale and take risks on the obsession. Podcasting is fun. We love to podcast. We love to fucking talk to a camera, and I like to sit down and edit it, and we like to have our conversations. This is chewing into time we could be using for other shit, but it is worth it because we find worth in it. That's why we bought these fucking microphones. That's why
invest in yourself.
Yeah, just invest in yourself. Going back to the very first thing we talked about. Because it might fucking blow up in your face. But that's why we save our money and we do our financial baby steps.
Yeah.
Financial freedom ensures that you can do whatever the fuck you want and still fall on your ass. Everyone can laugh at you. You're like, okay, I still fell on my ass. I didn't fall into like a pit of alligators. Like, I'm safe.
Sure.
I'm good. I can stand back up, go in another direction, and see where that takes me.
What's that saying? We avoid pain, and I'm putting it in a really bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
but it's like as humans we're designed to avoid pain.
We are.
And seek safety, and us doing thrifting, us doing podcasting, this is like going towards pain, because
Mhm.
like this is, for both of these, we're in the beginning stages of it, and so we're new, we're rookies, so like we really have to show our worth, and we really have to show our value and what we can bring into both a market and a platform.
For sure. I'm even just off this podcast. I'm considering calling up my second job and changing my availability so I have more time to thrift.
Yeah.
Because they're already cutting my hours, so fuck them. No, genuinely.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
I definitely
I
understand.
look at my schedule. They're cutting so many hours into my life, and they're trying to shave so many fucking minutes off of the time I have to spend there and time they have to pay for me. If don't you know what Oprah herself said, Oprah Winfrey, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. So
Boom.
if they're gonna cut my hours, fuck you, I'm cutting my hours,
Mhm.
and I will be scheduled for a very specific, very reachable time of my week, and all the rest of my time I'm going to be paying towards that obsession because the instability, whatever. Like, if I could just spend all day thrifting to find shit and typing, even just typing in values from my receipts into an Excel spreadsheet gets some kind of excitement inside me. Because when I'm sitting down doing my business ass receipt accounting, it's just numbers on a piece of paper that I put into an Excel spreadsheet, but it like makes me feel like there's a purpose to it. There's a ritual. There's like a
Definitely is.
it's tangible, you know, and it's something that I can hold on to and look at. And I'm looking at my Excel spreadsheet like I bought that with the intention of selling it, and this is how I think it's gonna go. I think we can just keep circling back to the same point.
Yeah, we do.
But it's so fun. It's just
Yeah.
it's get to thrifting or fucking stop you bitching.
Exactly.
But
Or just find something that you want to do
yeah.
that's going to make you money and that's going to make you happy while you do it.
That's
you
the
know?
most important part. Make sure it makes you money.
Yeah.
Because
Again, going
you
back to
gotta
Jim
live.
Rohn. Going back to Jim Rohn. If you do not listen to Jim Rohn, honestly, I think you're going to be missing a big portion.
Spell out his
of your
last
life.
name.
Jim Rohn. Jim, Jim. Rohn, Rohn. You can find any of his videos on YouTube. A lot of them are just audio clips. They're really not like actual videos of him. But he oh shoot, I almost forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck.
Listen to Jim Rohn.
Oh.
Save your money. Be financially liberated.
When his mentor was telling him to like start writing goals down, his mentor was like, Jim, you should write a goal down to be a millionaire. It'd be really nice. And Jim was like, oh, okay, yeah. But then his mentor was like, but when you make that $1,000,000, it won't be about the $1,000,000. And then Jim was like, what? Like, why? And then his mentor was like, no, seriously, like the money won't matter. You can just give it all away. And the reason why is because it's not about making that $1,000,000. It's about what you become to make that $1,000,000.
That's deep as fuck.
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
All right. I had a story for this pod, but I'm gonna save it for next episode because this has been
wow.
going.
We never even got to this. Shoot.
Yeah, this one's been going on for quite a bit. So not that is bad. It's just I realize that people can only sit and listen for so long before they
Listen
get
to us
tired of
ramble.
us fucking ramble all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Trust us, people. We're tightening up. Look, we didn't even have topics on the first episode. And
We didn't, yeah.
We made it through all of them. So I had a story, but I'll save it for next pod. Aw, don't worry, guys. It's okay. You can come back next week. Leave them wanting more. But yeah, let's close it off. Any final thoughts before we move on to our closing segment of recommendations?
No.
All right. Well, then what we're going to end today's podcast with is our ritual recommendations. Eddie, take it away with a book recommendation.
So my book recommendation for the week is Find Your Why by Simon Sinek.
Find Your
And
Why.
he goes into how to find what makes your life and what makes your career so meaningful, and finding yourself an actual place where you can have that deep feeling of accomplishment. Finding your why. Like, is as simple as it gets. It's a very good book.
And my movie recommendation of the week, this might be a little obvious for our time right now, whenever you listen to this.
The Lego Movie again.
And the best movie goes to Lego Movie 2, the second part. No, Roma by Alfonso Cuarón. It is a Spanish language film in black and white in 2019. I know, crazy. But it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's Alfonso Cuarón, known to make what I just recently found out, directed Prisoner of Azkaban. That's
Oh,
weird. He's known
the
for his
best Harry Potter movie out
I
there.
well, and I wonder why, because Alfonso Cuarón made it.
Yeah,
But he made Children of Men, uh,
also a good movie.
Y tu Mama Tambien, which was one of his earlier Spanish films. But yeah, which is probably I think Children of Men. I'm blanking on his other movies, but Roma. To be honest, I'm recommending the movie even though I'm halfway through it, because that's how much of a
You
recommendation it
sound
is.
like a fucking game critic who wants to put his freaking review before he finishes the game.
I haven't finished the movie, but with what half I've watched already, it's amazing. And I've heard great things. It's like 4.5 stars on Netflix. Fucking check it out, my guy. Alfonso Cuarón, great artist, visionary, black and white, sexy as fuck. But yeah, Roma, check it out. Check out. And what was your recommendation again?
Find Your Why by Simon Sinek.
All right. Well, that's all for us. I think we've rambled enough, got heated enough, gave us enough material for clips. But until next time, this is Gage signing off,
This is Eddie signing off.
and this has been Two Boys Podcast.
Boom.